a healing. And then the realization that person played a huge role in the client's life, because without them having that person, they would never be able to heal fully, because they would always disown that piece of them. And if you don't, it doesn't matter who the enemy is. Even if you move away, a new enemy will show up for you. That's how consciousness works. Consciousness is always out there to give you one more reason to wake up to be who you are.
And do you feel people, the biggest fear of discovering who you are is actually you might really have to let go of who you don't want to be, but you think you want to be?
Yeah, I believe that's part of it. What I typically find a lot with clients is the deepest, it's called the inner critic or gremlin. The deepest fear is that everybody was right, that deep inside they're not good. They're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They're not lovable. And that's the biggest fear for people too, because everything that's covering them, that who they're not, is protecting who they truly are. And when we step into who we truly are, we are the most powerful, beautiful, creative beings. And we don't have a lot of leaders out there that are showing up as who they are, showing us the light, showing us the energy, the possibility of who we can be. So these layers that we put on top of us is fear that we're not good enough, because we've heard it throughout our whole lives, from the kids, from authorities, from our parents. And that's what I'm finding is the biggest fear, is that people fear that they're unlovable.
And do you feel that comes from their childhood and their parents? I heard you just say that. But, I mean, do you feel a lot of the challenges people really overcome are the ones they get when they're in anywhere from about the womb to 5 or 6 years old?
Well, I think that it can be, I think it's really the world. Right now, we're born into unconsciousness, and we can see it through our parents and our grandparents and so forth down the line, that we keep growing in consciousness and light, what's acceptable in society, what's acceptable. So I really don't think that it is parents. I think it's humanity. It's the human condition. So I wouldn't want anybody to think, oh, it was my parents' fault that I have this fear, because it's not the parents' fault. It's no fault at all. It's a part of consciousness. It's that we're born into unconsciousness. Our parents did the best that they could under the circumstances and what they got, and consciousness is just growing and growing. So there's nobody to blame here. It's just a fact of life. And everybody's born into it, and nobody escapes it.
Now, here comes you said something that really, do you think we're finally opening into an era where we're going to start breaking away from history, because history repeats itself because it's made to repeat itself? Do you feel the earth and the world is beginning to break that paradigm and open out into a higher consciousness, but also a higher quality of living?
Absolutely, because we are, we're really coming across with a lot of coaches out there, and we're getting unbelievable results, and people are changing their lives, so that's exciting. And we go out there so equipped with 20 years of human potential science. We've got quantum physics. We've got biology supporting us. We have philosophy, spirituality, science. Everything is supporting this paradigm change. So it's pretty easy to speak to many different people on different levels, because it's not just one area that's growing now. It's everything. Everything is supporting it. So it's very powerful. So, yes, I do believe there's a huge change coming. I see it every day.
Yeah, I feel it and see it too. Kerri, give them all your information again, because if people want to open your eyes and open your mind, give Kerri a call and let her energize your life. So, Kerri, would you give them your information again?
Sure. My website is ipotentialcoaching.com. My email is Myers, that's Myers, at ipotentialcoaching.com, and my office number is 954-384-8847.
And thank you. Now, I got a question for everybody on the line that's listening. Do you see and feel how Kerri and her coaching could open your life to a new way of thinking and a new way of processing things in your life? Because basically, isn't that all life is a new way of inputs and outputs? Kerri?
Absolutely. It is always expanding. If we are not growing, we're dying. So really to connect with people that are always growing, that have access to the most incredible tools that the world has, that the United States have. You know, people have been working on this for years and years, and you can pick up, you know, go to the bookstore. Really, and your mind just expands and expands. And what's so incredible about enlightenment is you never reach it. It's always expanding. So you'll never get there. And when you find peace in that and you just really enjoy life and you know you're going to grow and grow and grow, every level gets better. And it really propels you to the next level, and you want to learn more, and you want to share more, and you want to love more, and you want to care more. And you really start to get an understanding of we have a lot of people that are focusing on consciousness or energy, and maybe not so much on unconsciousness. And when you realize the power of unconsciousness, you start to really create compassion in your life. And you start to realize that people that are in the egoic mind or really hardened, you have compassion for them because they don't know they have a choice. But when you have a choice and you offer them kindness, they're going to look at you and they're going to change. And that's your gift to give to people. So your growing will help everybody. It's an amazing opportunity.
And that's very true. When you can let go, but do you believe people live unconsciously in a conscious world?
Can people live unconsciously in a conscious world?
Do people live unconsciously in a conscious world without even knowing they do that?
Absolutely. The world, the universe is very conscious. It is awake. It's alive. And that's so interesting because we go back to talking about school. When I went to school, when we would study a tree, we would study tree, leaf, and dissect the whole thing. So we really got into our left brain, and so we were taught to break things down. And what we had to do to analyze a tree is we had to kill the tree first. So when we're out in the world and we're thinking that the tree is dead, because that's how we're taught in school, 'cause through our left brain, analytical mind, we have to break things down. We think we're still in Newtonian physics where we live in a mechanical world. But in reality, the tree is alive. The tree is creating. The tree is attracting birds. It's alive, and we really have to appreciate that we live in a conscious world. And we don't get that. I don't know. We don't really get that in school. I think they're bringing it more in with more science and hands-on. But that is a really huge shift that must happen in school, is to really see that we live in an alive world, and quantum physics is starting to do that.
Yeah, quantum physics, and the thing is in my journey, the thing is once I've opened my mind to understanding that I really have no control and really only understand things, I really don't know things. Do you feel that coaching and your coaching helps people live and understand that the confusion is just a journey of expansion?
Well, what happens with coaching is the confusion is removed. You really get into a place of knowing, and you get into a place where you know who you are, and from that place you can create the world that you're of your choosing. It's a very powerful core energy. Coaching gets to the core of who you are. So there's no Band-Aids here. It's not coaching saying